Hello. She muted herself again. Are you okay? I can't hear you. Welcome to the muted version of Fashion Victuals Radio. I try to mute her, all that stuff. It's always good to know. But anyway, welcome to our season premiere of Fashion Victuals Radio. Once Tiara gets her mic situated, we'll get to hear her lovely voice. We are back for our summer season, and we're still semi-quarantine because we here in Maryland are in phase 1 or 1.5, depending on how you see it, of trying to get back to normality. So if you have been watching on Rip Radio Network, we've been officially been slowly getting back into the studios with some shows. But still some of the other shows are, confined. I wouldn't say confined, but, decided to stay doing the StreamYard. But we will plan on getting back to the studio in the near future. So as you can tell, Tiara is trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with her audio. So, but why don't we do this? Why don't we take a little break? But we got a lot going on for you. We do have Fashion Victual News. And we also have a lovely, sexy special guest coming after our Fashion Victual News after that. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we will have Fashion Victual News right here on ripradionetwork.com.
Can you hear me?
Yay! She's back.
I don't know. I was having some issues.
I see, or hear. So, but glad to know that you're okay.
Yeah.
So you want to do Fashion Victual News, or?
Yes, let's jump right into Fashion Victual News. What do you have for us today, Brian?
Okay, so as many people are slowly getting back to normal by traveling, Alaskan Governor Michael Dulvade announced last week that travelers will be allowed into the biggest state in the union only if they have a negative COVID-19 test. Alaskan travelers are required to have at least 72 hours notice before traveling. If a traveler has no test results before boarding the plane, this is kind of the weird part, they are required to take a test at the airport. Which is kind of weird. So pretty much you got to take the test before you come to Alaska. But another state, the 50th state of Hawaii, is considering doing this procedure as well. But currently they have a 14-day quarantine notice once you deboard the plane. So you have to be in solitary confinement in Hawaii, which is not bad. And that plan will be remaining in effect until the end of the month. So if you decide to have an Alaskan trip, gotta bring your doctor's note.
Well, I mean, this is going to be the new norm for a long time. So I wouldn't be surprised if the other states would go along with the procedure that they're doing.
Mm-hmm. And international travel too. I think a lot of international countries are kind of doing that as well. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So sticking with traveling, so trying to bring back people into the ease of flying the friendly skies again. An easy jet pilot by the name of Charlotte Delium posted on her Instagram a picture of herself holding a sign that reads, "Buy fly tickets like you buy toilet paper." A few days later, Virginia Atlantic captain Chris Pohl did the exact same thing while wearing his dress uniform and having, as you can see, toilet paper raining down around him. And these two pilots are pretty much trying to do their best to bring back people to air traveling while this could work or not. How do you feel? Is this a good PR thing? Just, hey, buy enough tickets, and they're cheap now. Mind you, they are cheap.
They are cheap, but I don't think it's good PR though. Like, you have to understand, people's lives are at stake at this point. I mean, it was at stake anytime you flew the friendly skies, but this is like more at risk. That's something that can be prevented. You have a choice of preventing anything from happening to you than to be like, okay, well, I'll fly to from here to Kansas or whatever have you.
Mm-hmm. So, well, I mean, I think one, it was funny, a bit funny, and two, I just feels like I understand you want to get people back into the swing of things of traveling and stuff like that. So, I mean, I figure it's a good cheap PR move, but we'll see how it is down the line.
I mean, I don't think that people are. I can't say that. People are definitely afraid to travel. What people don't realize is the fact that we're wearing these masks to protect others, not ourselves. We're protecting others from catching anything that we may or may not have, regardless, but we're using the protection mask for others. So we are still in a state of where people are still keeping their distance, even though slowly states are opening their cities back up, slowly but surely. We're still in a position where we still have to remain 6 feet away from people. We still do not know, even though they do say that they clean the airplanes. There's no telling how thoroughly they clean these planes. Still, to me, and I'm still a little afraid to fly. I'm sorry, I'm just a little afraid to fly right now.
Understandable. So I mean, everyone's kind of iffy about certain things. But anyway, well, here's something to ease your tension. Just like many corporations who are donating millions of dollars to help support the Black Lives Matters movement in its current form to end systematic racism and police brutality towards Black people. One company in particular takes it a bit further. Uber's CEO, I'm not going to pronounce his name because it's crazy, announced that Uber Eats will be providing access to Black-owned restaurants. Pretty much, this is the cool part. He said that when you open the app, it'll prompt you to the link that will give you access to a list of spots that you can order from. So whatever city you're in, boom, you see that app to where you can click on Black-owned restaurants. You see a nice listing of Black-owned restaurants. And here's the capper. Delivery fees will be waived for the rest of the year. So if you're going to be supporting a great cause and saving money at the same time. So again, if you go to Uber Eats, click on the link and pick any Black-owned restaurants there. And if you order from them and they deliver it, the delivery fees are waived. So that's a win-win for everybody.
That's awesome. I think that's so awesome. He did take it a step further, and that's great because a lot of people don't know where certain Black-owned restaurants are in their cities or their neighborhoods. So to pinpoint that is a really good step in the game. So I definitely commend him for that.
Oh yeah. So, and our last story, a few weeks ago, we keep going to the Netherlands every time because I think the Netherlands know what they're doing. So we mentioned the fact a few weeks ago that this one Netherlands spot had the perfect setup for social distance dining. Now another spot is setting up the best social distant dining staff. This Dutch place called the Dadawan, there we go, Dadawan. Introduced their new robotic servers. They have sort of like, if you can see here, this is the greeter. He'll greet you at the door, which will take your temperature before entering into the facility. Now, if you're okay, he'll escort you to your seat, where then you'll have your waiter will take your order. As you can see, you'll see the screen menu and get take your order, and when ready, they will, receive and deliver your order. And since all indoor facilities in Holland can only allow at max 30 people, the owner of the Dadawan feels that it's the best way to maintain social distancing. So we've had mannequins, we've had, spaced out seatings, and now we got robotic staffing. So Hey,
if this is successful for the restaurant, this is gonna be a big step ahead in the restaurant game where a lot of people will be out of work.
yeah, that's the thing that kind of worries me. Is it's like, okay, already the robotic uprising has taken slow effect, because you're pretty much taking over someone's job that they can do. I understand you're trying to do social distancing and things like that, but at the same time, you're kind of like taking jobs away. Unless the only people you got to have is a cooking staff, and that's it. I understand you won't have some, the patron won't complain to the server because your server's so robotic and say, "Oh, sorry for your wait, sir." They'll do the tilt nods and all that stuff and give you some polite reply. But unfortunately, it's kind of like, you're just talking to a robot.
It's going to be weird. It will be
Yeah.
definitely weird. But if it's successful, then I think that this will be a new wave in the restaurant industry, especially cutting and reducing staff costs by like 50%.
Right.
I mean, you're going to need staff, of course, to be in the kitchen and cooking and stuff like that. But as far as hosting and serving, if it goes in that direction, then
right,
50% of your staff.
Understandable. Well, since we didn't get our little opening, how have you been?
I've been good. I've been good. I'm in the South right now, so
that's why. Okay,
it was a different background.
I see. How South? Like
the Carolinas.
Oh, okay.
Far south, but I'm in the South.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you just visiting family and things like that, or just okay, trying to get your head right?
I mean, hey, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Just to get away from the city. That's all. It's not a lot going. I mean, it's not a lot going on at home currently right now, but a lot of cities is really not much going on. So
I see. Well, but anyway, I don't want to hold up this lovely lady's time, because this person, Miss September has arrived. So,
I'm like looking down.
Yeah, I know. So
you got me. Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Hey.
So
Hi.
we want to take.
You know what I was saying. You know what I was. Go ahead.
We want to take a little quick break, but you want to say something before we take a break?
Yeah, like just on about the news, right? So I think that it's just my thought, that if they implemented, some kind of law, maybe or ruling or standard, that these robotic servers are only for situations like this, then I think it can be both. I think that it can be definitely great for, the restaurant community, and it can cut their costs. Or maybe if it's like a special event, if it's like a huge event and they need help with staffing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that should become a standard, because that is going to take a lot of jobs away from people. But I definitely think that that's something that sometimes a restaurant is too busy, and you're like, and then you get somebody and they're not the most friendliest of person. So sometimes if you just I know Applebee's and stuff, they have those little tablets where you can kind of like play games or whatever. So, you know what I mean? I think it's something cool, but I also think, like you said, like they definitely need to take into consideration that people ain't working already.
Yeah.
Let's not take away more jobs.
Yes, that's true.
When we come back, we're going to get into the interview with Miss September Rain right here on Fashion Victuals Radio. So we'll see you in a bit.
Yeah. Harlem Renaissance, the new Negro movement, making money off the same pain they use and abuse. This is right at heart. If you admire my art, you're not a fan, more a buyer of sorts. And your taste is impeccable, I must say. Fresh food for your thoughts, this is Subway. Ain't no Mozart, but this is Mozart. Only 22, but when it comes to these raps, I'm the sort till 22. In the E flat, only a couple could read that, and fewer can play it. And when action meets words, even fewer could say shit. But if you was to say shit, I just expect you to do what you say. Shit, they probably take a page up my book and make a paper plain. The same reason it makes it hard for us to seem to play the game. Cause every time I put my life in the line, it feels like I'm putting my life on the line. I'm open to scrutiny. Yeah, I'm open to scrutiny. Talk your shit, I'm open to scrutiny. Yeah, could only make me better, it ain't shit it could do to me. Harlem Renaissance, the new nigga movement. Takes more than you to diffuse it. And me, I'm just a lengthy hill, bringing color to the light, I just enhance your heels. Harlem Renaissance, the new nigga movement. Takes more than you to diffuse it. And me, I'm just a Evie the boys. Seeing the shit that ain't easy to boys, but y'all leave me no choice. The only black card I'm pulling is an American Express. If I say the blacks are useless, it's with American Express. It ain't your verdicts that hurt us, but the way they just accept it like what the fuck niggas expected? We supposed to put our heads down and not fight back. But shit, even with our hands up, they might ground that. I use a black pen just to write out raps, you know, in case y'all wanna come around and try to white out that. It ain't too late to come together, cause too much black and too much love equals forever.
If I take my hand and slap you, you don't even feel it. It might sting you because these digits are separated. But all I have to do to put you back in your place is bring those digits together.
I use the rap and slowed it up, you know, made it better. Let's make a bond that's tough enough that can face the weather. Do more to make this cheddar. Never play the victim, don't believe in that part. Rather paint a picture that can leave them in awe. I believe in your art. Let's stop just reading these lines and start to speak in our hearts. Harlem Renaissance, the new nigga movement. Takes more than you to diffuse it. And me, I'm just a lengthy hill, bringing color to the light, I just enhance your heels. Harlem Renaissance, the new nigga movement. Takes more than you to diffuse it. And me, I'm just a Evie the boys. Seeing the shit that ain't easy to boys, but y'all leave me no choice. Your hair is only good if you mix with Indian. Keep your race ambiguous, tell me what got into us. The more your skin is closer to they tenant, the more they think you closer to his image. Skin a copper, hair a wall. I guess that's not an image that they care to use. If the Bible didn't make it clear to you, I guess you wasn't trying to hear the truth.
Welcome to my Fashion Radio, right here on RipRadioNetwork.com. We have in the building, or on air, Miss September Rain. How are you, darling?
Hi. I am well. That music was amazing. That was awesome.
Her name is Monet Neo.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
How
So
have you
pretty
been?
much.
Me, I'm, up and down. I think everybody's kind of up and down. I think there's parts of this lockdown that it's totally inspiring and you're like left in your own thoughts. And then there's times where left in those thoughts is too much,
Yes.
So I think, I don't know, I'm always an advocate for being the healthiest as a people. Like I want everybody to be healthy. But I definitely think that just for the economy to survive, like people have to, something has got to give, like either some kind of, idea where people like more jobs online or something has to happen, something. So we're all managing.
We absolutely are.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I know that during COVID-19, a lot of places are currently not using or utilizing spaces anymore. So I can just imagine, like, everybody's been home, especially in your profession. It's like, what do I do? I'm bored.
Right. And it's like, I don't know. I've always, been a more private at home type of person, so it's okay for me. It's more okay for me, I guess, than it is for other people. But I feel like for those people that have to like interact with people, they must be going crazy. And it's a lot. It's much deeper than that. Like, I think I always try to say publicly that, for people to be a lot more kinder, especially because now we're resorting to be on social media more so than often. And people tend to not think before they tweet. or not think before they comment. And so in this time, people forget that there's people that are in abusive relationships. There's people that have mental issues. There's people, that have drug abuse issues. And so they're stuck. They can't get out. So maybe all they have is like a phone call or like the internet, but sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes you physically need a hug, or sometimes, that person is like leaving and going to work to get away from being abused. And now they can't do that. So, it's definitely a journey for everybody in every field, like no matter what you're doing. I think that everybody's an adjustment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Well,
actually,
it's been a while since you've been on the show.
Yes, it has.
So I see you have a new look. I love the hair.
I do. I did this last night. I'm so proud.
It's really cute.
I'm so proud. First of all, okay, because you would think Vegas is hotter because I'm normally stationed in Vegas. But I don't know, maybe my body has gotten used to Vegas. And so now I'm in Northern California and it's a lot hotter. And that curly hair was, it was a lot. So I was like, no. And my natural hair, I never really did my natural hair. And I finally did my natural hair. So I just added like some volume to it, which is a lot more. I've never felt so free.
It's like
Actually, you and I, September, we met at Exotica, New Jersey last year.
Mm-hmm.
I had my reporter Brandon talk to you, and we had this nice, interesting dialogue about the person who talked to you before about him being working for the airline and things like that.
Oh yes,
so,
oh, yes. You know what? He never sent me anything else.
I know. My main question is since everything is closed up, do you kind of miss the interaction of fans, or better yet, let alone just interaction with the people that you work with?
Oh, like conventions and stuff.
Yeah.
I do and I don't. I think that I am one of those stars that spend a lot of time talking to my fans. In some way or another, whether it is on OnlyFans, whether we are on FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, whatever, StreamYard, I don't know, whatever, Twitter, Instagram, I'm always talking to people. And I'm up all day long. Like my schedule is so up and down because I dip my hands into a lot of different things. Like I'm not just adult. I'm not just this. I'm not just that. Like I do a lot of different things. And we all have our own life too, like outside of the business. So I think for me, I've been in since 2015, and it's been like I think during that time I I probably took like 6 months off, maybe. Like without being in LA or with, you know what I mean? Like I was going like a year or two without even coming home to my hometown. Because I was go, and I've always been a workaholic. So for me, spending quality time with my family and my friends and my close-knit people and myself, for that matter, because I'm newly single, hey. Spending time with myself has been like super refreshing, like super, like it's like totally a reset for sure. Because I was going, when you're moving so fast, you don't even know where the next exit is, and that can lead to a train wreck, like super quick. So I was able to kind of be like, wait a minute, hold on. Wait, we need gas.
Well, speaking of gas, I noticed that during your time, I saw a little bit of your new creation at your, I don't know, this is your Vegas home, I believe, of your backyard.
That was my Vegas home.
You was. Oh, you lost it.
No, I didn't lose the home. Me being newly single, I chose to get a new space for myself. And so it's bittersweet. You know what's funny? Like, okay, so when I was moving out, and I figured it was the right time. Honestly, I think things that just happen for a reason. There's no bad blood or anything, but I think that because it's quarantine, it was less intense than it needed. Like, I feel like the work up to it was more intense because you're stuck in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not if you're at odds with someone and you're in the same house, ooh, that's rough. That's rough. But the transition wasn't as rough as normal people's because, we're on quarantine. So even though it's bittersweet that I was working on that house and making it cute and all that stuff, it wasn't a house that we were buying. So it was just kind of like an upgrade to like the back area because I'm shooting a lot more. Like being on quarantine, I'm shooting. So when we got the house, it was empty. There was just nothing but dirt. And I'm like, okay, well, how about for my OnlyFans? Like a lot of girls ask for like shoes and clothes. And I've never been that type. I'm really an outside girl, or I do like weird quirky stuff. So I was like, okay, I love to garden and I want a garden. And it was the Vegas again is hot. So I was like, okay, I need to get some trees or something going on in the backyard. So what can I do where I don't really have to like spend a bunch of money, even though I was putting up money, but I did like a sale on my OnlyFans. So anybody contributed to that. So my fans helped me build. I contributed. Yeah, like my fans helped me build that. So that's why I say I don't really feel much of a difference. It's sad that I can't like hug them, which is great. But other than that, I still communicate with my fans. Like they were a part of that. Like I sent photos and videos. I mean, I had a fan send deck tiles that I put together, like the little tiles you snap in together. So I was like snapping tiles naked and sent that video like off, like, you know what I mean? Because he paid for it. So it was a thing to where I was building that. And then at the very end, because I have a lot of equipment already, because I'm doing a lot of solo stuff still, because I'm still doing a lot of solo stuff. Like I'm one of the fortunate performers that have had, established a career so I can, work. So I wanted to be able to like produce like a crazy thing in my like little backyard oasis, and they would have got that on the platform. Like a lot of girls do like pay-per-view messages and all these added things to their site. No, it was going to be completely like just being a member, and even if you donated just $5, you would have been able to see that full length video. So I'm still going to do it. We're still doing it. And now we're upgrading. Because after spending over a year in that house, I want a house with a pool now.
So you're some more money, more work.
Yeah, and there's a lot more stuff that I can do, underwater stuff. Like I used to do a lot of underwater photography. So we're just gonna make that more erotic.
Yes. Tiara, you want to say something?
Huh?
I think Tiara wants to say something.
Oh no, I was listening.
I can go on for hours. I'm the best.
Michael, speaking of your OnlyFans and things like it, more of the sense of since the shutdown, as a performer, how has that been for you financially wise? Since you can't do the studio stuff, but has the OnlyFans been a big help for you and also for everybody?
Yeah, up and down. I think for a lot of girls, if I could speak for a lot of girls, I would say that it's been awesome because they've been able to focus, get creative, figure some things out, really tap into your fan base. Because, when you're shooting on set, sometimes you're on set for whatever, 10, 12 hours. So granted, you have time to kind of go on your Twitter. It's not like a real conversation because you're on Twitter, you're on Instagram, you're replying to this, you're doing that, you're DMing, emails, all this stuff. So you're getting pieces of conversations. So only the most memorable conversations or experiences are the ones that, I remember that guy, or I remember this, or whatever. So with now being on shutdown, you're having to talk to these people, DM every single day, post stuff, because they want that content. And so for most girls, it's been great. For me at the beginning, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. Like I was able to do that paving of both sides of the house. I added turf outside because my husky, she's weird.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I like your husky. Your husky's
She's
cute.
so weird. She like loves to sit out in the sun. She's the weirdest husky I'm like, but she also likes.
All dogs are like that. All dogs are like that. My dog does the same thing. Like she likes to sunbathe.
Her fur is like bigger than my weave. It is like, it's thick. So because she's a real 100% Siberian, so she like her hair grows thick, and I haven't really cut it, because I don't want to be the one to do it because I don't want to mess her up. So, and Petco just kind of, I mean, they were open, but they didn't have those services for a long time. So they just finally started those services back. And now I kind of want to see, because sometimes like I adopted her. So sometimes like owners cut them, because I know they cut her and then they what is it, spayed or neutered her or whatever. Yeah. And so, but she might like her hair because she doesn't seem to have a problem with it. Like she will lay out in the sun and it be 100 degrees, and she'll go inside over some time. But like, you'll be sitting there like, I wouldn't even do that. Like, what did you do? She's crazy. But yeah, no, lately the OnlyFans has kind of declined, only because I had to transition. Right. So that's the only reason why it's been bad for me. So I've been the bad one. I've been the one that has been a little neglectful to it. But my fans, obviously, I keep them really informed about what I'm an introvert, but I'm also really close with my fans. So I do let them know. I may not say it publicly, but on my platform, I'll let people know kind of where I'm at and what I'm doing. So they've been like super supportive. You guys are awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Since the industry is closed, have you gotten any notice of when they'll, are they in a certain phases, like here in Maryland? We're in a phase 1 situation. I don't know how it is in other states. Are you? Is there a phase where you guys go in?
I don't know. California, I don't even know what phase California is in. I'm assuming they're in phase 4 out of the 5, because I know from what I've been told from some people, they're looking at like maybe like another 1 to 2 weeks before things can be a go. I know Nevada is, I believe they're still in phase 2. But at the same time, I think in the phase 2, they have practically everything besides strip clubs and concerts and stuff. You know what I mean? Which is like, because they know we make a lot of money, so it's very annoying. But yeah, so I know that some states are kind of closer. So I'm hoping within, that's why I said I'm optimistic. I want us to kind of be open by July 1st. My theory is all these un-Black Lives Matter people ain't going to want to miss out on their Independence Day. So that's my personal opinion. I'm very vocal with how I feel about things. That's just how I feel. But at the same time, I think that, it is a serious matter and people do have to be safe. Right, so I think that if it's going to risk people not being safe, but I mean, it's kind of like all the people that are out there protesting, and I love them, and I'm with them, and I stand with them and behind them. I wish I could be there, just for personal reasons I can't. But it's like they don't care about social distancing. So I think that, it's kind of, I don't know, because everything is kind of, government isn't really giving out full story about any states aren't really giving 100% of what's going on all levels. So I feel like in some cases, I feel like they're going to try to use the protest as a way to say, oh, well, they're not social distancing and we don't have no COVID cases, so let's open it up. But then at the same time, I've seen some places, some states, that after the protests and after the riots and stuff, that, COVID cases spiked up. So, to keep
without testing. Without testing.
Right. It's interesting. I'm out here in my hometown, which is Sacramento, Northern California. And so, for a minute we had a lockdown at like 8:00. And so luckily my sister is an essential worker. So we were able to like drive around because she had her little thing. And so we went to go to the store And they literally had military out with guns outside of Walmarts. And I was all right, okay. I don't know what's gonna happen. You just don't anymore. I really want to get back to work because I have some exciting projects coming. Like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna start shooting in my hair in this little short style too. We're gonna figure it out.
I mean, mine too. I think I love your current look. I think you know, as a guy, I love going into women's hair and especially help massage the scalp. And I see Tiara's eyes are bulging out. But speaking of which, pretty much Wayne had you come on before the Black Lives Matter movement, but to deal with quarantine life and how to get our sexy back, how to get sex back. And mind you, you know, guys, look, we did the Pornhub, we did the OnlyFans. We need some ways to do human contact. It is, I mean, for you, I mean, I don't know how you feel about dealing with, you know, having to deal with the vibrators and the dildos almost
I hate
many
them.
days as you can.
Well, dildos, I'm not really a fan of. I like real, yeah. I like the real deal. So even with, I mean, people know that I'm bisexual. I've been very open with that. Even though it's weird now, I'm shooting more girl. But before I was only shooting boy, girl. So people questioned it for a long time. But you know, I love women, but I can't do the fingers thing. It's not my vibe. Like if there's multitasking going on, we can totally rock it. But if there's just that little jab situation, I just not know. It's just not my vibe. So for me, it's like the vibrators are cool. But the problem with vibrators is that people don't realize is that especially girls like me that are outer stimulation type of girl, if you are using any type of vibration on your outer like women parts, I don't know, can I even say bad stuff? I'm like,
you're open. This is an open forum.
Okay, so if you are like shit on your pussy, like using vibration on your pussy, you know, you cannot do that constantly. Because what's going to happen, it's almost like when a girl goes and gets her labia pierced or her clit pierced. And if she gets it done the wrong way and it ruins sensitivity. I've had that with my nipples to where my tits were, prior to my tits being done, I got my, back when I was just a dancer, I got my nipples pierced. And I got my little area down there pierced. And they did it, I forgot which way. I mean, I think it was this way, but I think this nipple, yeah, because I moved. I think that's why, because he didn't do them at the same time. So when he did that one, it hurt like hell. And then when he did that one, I was already expecting that pain. So it moved and it hit a nerve. And so when it hit a nerve, then I lost sensitivity in that boob. And I still don't have as much sensitivity on that side as I do on this side. But when I got my boobs done, because they were having to reconstruct some things, now I have a little bit of sensitivity back. So you got to be careful with the vibrators. So I don't know. I feel like if you have, for people fortunate enough to have a partner that they're with, even being in the house can get boring. It's you gotta do something. So I'm like, the freak in me went on Amazon, and Amazon has this amazing, almost like blow up mattress. But it's like a small one, and it fits perfectly in the back of like, you know, a mini SUV, like, or car. Like if you put the car seats up, if you push them up, then it fits in the back seat, and it has like a section to where it covers like the middle console, like it goes up so that, you know, that's not an open area. And it even has a pillow. So you can turn your car into a whole bedroom. So y'all can, you know, for people in Vegas, go to Red Rock. There's so many sections of Red Rock. Like Red Rock goes all the way down for like a good 6-7 miles. So you can go and take that out there, shoot some content or whatever. Like, or if you're not like a performer, you can go out there, have a good time. Go
Okay.
go take a hike. Go find there's a lot of hikes, especially in Vegas at least, or like not Denver. I'm sorry, Utah, that have water wells on the, or like there's certain trails on the way to a waterfall that have little wells that you can dip off to, because that's where my husky loves to go and pretend like she's fishing. So she takes off and goes, and then I gotta call her, and then she'll run up and like almost take off my head coming. I'm thinking the first time I took her, I thought she fell. So I'm like freaking out, like, you know what I mean? Because I just seen her take off, and then I didn't see her at all. And there was like a dip in the hill, and I'm like, oh my God, did she just go over a cliff? But she was down there in the water. So I've seen couples go down there, and after about 6 o'clock, when the sun starts going down, a lot of people in Vegas are like weird about like UFOs and shit, so they don't leave because they don't want to deal with it, and they take the kids out because it gets really dark. It gets incredibly dark. I go purposely at night with her because she likes to howl to the moon. She's weird.
Right.
Yeah. So I go do dirty things while she howls.
Okay. So let's say this, for someone who doesn't have a partner, so that seems like good ideas for with partners, but those who don't, what new ways to help stimulate ourselves or satisfy ourselves during these solo times?
Well, I mean, I've always been a big fan of like video sex. Like, why not? Why not? Because I feel like there's something to that like gets me. It's like you're touching, but you're not. Or like if you do it with the right person, you find the right person that is and it doesn't mean that they're nasty. It doesn't have to mean that they're nasty. I know people that are very detailed in the way that they speak. So they can stay, when you're on quarantine, your mind is going everywhere. That's something that can be equally as much as a turn on as watching it. Because all someone has to do, honestly, or even phone conversations can go there. Like, I know a lot of women that have made a shit ton as phone sex operators without even having to ever be seen ever in life. Like Monique, the comedian actress, was a phone sex operator. So, I mean, like, that's how she kind of did her thing prior to being the comedian that we know her to be and the actress that we know her to be. So, and as a big girl, she was like that. She was freaky and nasty, and she can say things, and she had a voice that sounded sexy. And so all you really, I mean, for me, I'm used to it because I've done this for so long. But if you have that person that you were already talking to and now you can't see, or if you like online date and you find that person, spice it up and like, and pick up the phone when you guys call. If it's going to be a phone call, like, I think as a woman, like, I would be turned on if the guy called me and had, made sure his voice sounded the best it could, because any person can make their voice sound sexy. Everybody has a tone. Just like anybody can hold a tone, anybody can make their voice sound a certain type of way. So if they get into that vibe, I don't know, smoke some weed or something, drink your liquid courage or whatever, get in that vibe and really zone into your imagination and take those photos that you have of that person that you've been talking to or that visual image and really zone in on that and think about like what you would do if you were there in detail. Because if you really sit back and think about it, like that's why directors make as much as they do, because they're able to or writers for movies and stuff, they're able to say, and he took his hand and he softly placed it on her neck and, took his lips and slowly blew, whatever, all those different things. And you're sitting there flipping through audiobook hour and you done finished 7 books already because you're really into it. So if you do that, I think a girl, at least I would, if a guy called me and was like, had a sexy voice and just was like, close your eyes. And then just started telling me some things like, I want you to lay back. I want you to do this. I move your hair, get comfortable. Like they told me every which way to do things, and then said, now that you're in the position that I want you in, now let me tell you what I'm going to do to you. And detail and describe that. Right. That would probably get me off. Like nobody's business.
Surprisingly enough, as you're talking about it, I'm reminded of I've done the phone sex thing with a couple of ladies, and they enjoyed. I don't know. I was surprised because sometimes my voice goes high up, as you can tell, because I'm so excited dealing with, talking to people. But the two ladies, with the two ladies, especially the second one, it was during a weekend, and it got to the point where she climaxed, and I was like, "Are you okay? Are you all right?" And because I heard a lot of stumbling and tripping
she
over.
Probably dropped some stuff.
Yeah.
No, but me, my leg go up in the air. It'd be like, woo!
So Tiara, do you have any experience of that? So since you raised your hand about the video thing.
Hey. You got to. You know what?
Like since quarantine, like honestly, I have been practicing abstinence since February.
She's about to be a beast. Woo! She's about to be a beast when this is over.
At the moment of any type of having, being in bed with somebody. It was in February. So here it is, June. And now, trust me, it becomes sexually frustrating because you do try to find little outlets, and at least to get you through quarantine. The sex thing, I did not try during quarantine. I've tried it before, but I haven't tried it during quarantine. What I have been doing is writing. Like she was saying, like people are very detailed about their hands or certain body parts on a person. So I've been kind of exploding through my writing instead of exploding.
Yeah. I mean, I used to date an author, and he practices celibacy every so often. Like, and even like a full body cleanse. Like, I mean, because he smokes weed, he won't smoke weed. Like, he will cleanse his thing. And then he will, like, I mean, of course, he'll let you know, like, hey, I'm start writing. And you know what that means. Like, he's in his zone. He is in his zone. And that's why I said quarantine is really refreshing, because it allows you to kind of zone into what you need for yourself. Because you just, I mean, the wall's not talking back. Like, no matter how many times you talk to it, that shadow will not dance with you. Like, like they can, it'll dance, it'll mimic you, but it ain't gonna hold you back. It's not gonna happen. So, and my daughter is like
I'm like fully agreeing with you with that. Like, I'm not a toy person.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I've had toys, but I get sexually frustrated with toys because I'm a real deal person. Like, I want the real thing.
So I think, I mean, one thing that I do, and I mean, I started doing it because I had to do it for work, because it made me a better performer. But what I will say, in doing it, it has made me so aware of my body. It's like, it's now more intense, is, getting a mirror. And when you are having that intimate moment with yourself, if you're using your own fingers or your own toy or whatever, and look at yourself as if, I mean, for me, I look at myself as myself, but I've heard girls do it and look at like another woman, or they imagine like if they were sitting there, like that hand that's theirs being like their guy's hand or whatever, and really like zone into that and like make love to yourself. Make love to yourself. But I mean, because a lot of people don't do it. And I think performers have to do it if you want to be a good performer and know your bodily function. But I just feel like as a woman too, to know your anatomy and know what's going to get you off. Like when you do decide to go back to actively a sex life, now you're not with the bullshit, because now you're like, I'm gonna need you to do this, and this, and I'm gonna need you to do it like this. Because if you do it like this, you'll have my full energy that you want to have, and I'll be able to release. A lot of people sometimes.
Well, will that kind of deter of what your partner is trying to do? Even because you're kind of like, well, don't you think it's kind of dictating? I know you're trying to be pleased, but are you willing to give some leeway for your partner to try to please you in a way they think they can please you?
Oh, of course. Like, I don't want it to be like you gotta be like, you're not going to sit back and enjoy yourself. No, not at all. Because that's the beauty of making love to someone else, is you guys are exchanging each other's energy and you guys are trying to please each other. It's not a competition. It's not a race. It's, you know what I mean? Like, you guys, however that aura that is amongst you guys, that is what you create. But what I'm saying is, a lot of people, when they are interacting sexually with somebody, they might have an idea of something that they might have never tried before that they wanted to. They might have seen something. They might have been actually making love to someone else prior, or that person prior, and it might have been an accidental moment, and they were like, ooh, and then, but because it was an accident, that person switched it up because they thought it was a bad thing, and then they wanted, no, go back to that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, and then they never went back to that, and then they think back later, like, I don't know. I've had, when I share energy with someone, even the best energy, I can always, like, I know when I'm having the best energy with someone, because if we make love and it's not a sense of unsatisfaction, I am completely satisfied, and in that satisfaction, I become turned on again. Like, and to the point where I have to make love to myself while I'm thinking about them doing it to me. So it's not to take away from what someone else can do to you, because if you have great sexual energy, with someone, I think that'll turn into you thinking about them, which is why I said, for girls that are dating somebody and maybe you just can't, or guys that are dating someone and you just can't get to them. You just can't, you know what I mean? You already know what that feels like. You know what that, so imagine that. But sometimes when you're looking in the reflection and you can see another eye staring at you, like we're able to, like, just like we have peripheral vision, I'm able to look, like, just like you can look here when someone's eyes are here, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You can also look them dead in there. Some people have the capability of looking someone dead in the eye, but only seeing their eyes and not seeing anything else. So they can, be able to kind of zone into that and look at that, and you're looking at yourself, and you're finding those moments of what gets your body off. So when you're with them again, now you guys can reach a deeper level that you might have not have gone to, because you might have been like, wait a minute, when now you know that your body is capable of letting go in that way, now you can do it with that person. So
surprise, again, another thing to point out, I've always liked looking into a woman's eyes when she's having an orgasm coming, because of the fact is I just like seeing her eyes, just focusing on that, and I can tell that she's, I'm looking at her, she's looking at me, and enjoy. To me, that's even sexy. To me, that's turns me on even more. So, and yes, Tiara, I'm giving you extra stuff to think about. But anyway, one other thing I want to talk about is, since again the quarantine thing has been helpful and hurtful at the same time, because thanks to Pornhub, they gave out the free month for a lot of people. They're now doing the free access to a lot of their ebony content.
I heard that was fake, so I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, that's been kind of effing off. Yeah, because I've been on. Yes, I do go to Pornhub from time to time, and of course OnlyFans. The thing is, the question I'm asking is, once we start getting back to meeting people and getting intimate with people, how do we get tiered off from Pornhub? Because somehow, a month can do, unless you do it sparingly, it's one thing. But there are those who are who once they got that free access, they've been on it since that free access and never got off.
Yeah, but I think that the power of body language and human connection, even from birth, like a baby can die and touch another human and be brought back. So that power is unmatched, and there's no amount of technology. I don't care. There's no amount of technology that's going to replace that. I don't care what Fortune 500 company you have. It's just not happening. At least for me, it's not. So I think for people that are like that, they're only like that because they're stuck in the house. They can't go. The favorite place that they want to go to is closed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that the second, it doesn't even have to be no strip club or like seeing a courtesan or a companion. It doesn't have to be like that. I think that somebody can be in the middle of Taco Bell after being cooped up in the house, Like, granted, Pornhub has been their savior. They are hooked. They're like, yeah, it's free. I got it. It's cool. I mean, but here's the thing. Pornhub was always free. So cut it the fuck out. Like, Pornhub was always,
I thought so too.
it was always doing something for the free.
Well, the free premium.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, granted, they're excited because they're getting all these company profiles and these verified stars profile, these premium profiles they're getting for free right now. But guarantee when this is over, that is going back up to that $39.99. And you know what I mean? And you know, for those people, I feel like as much as that's like gonna, for the ones that can afford it, like it's gonna be great. But they're still going to line up, you know, a block away, like a mile down the block to get that personal hug from that girl that they've been watching that whole time. So at some point, they're going to reach a situation where they're going to have physical contact with someone. And it takes one touch. It takes one look at someone's eye to you know what I mean? It takes one face to be like, okay, let me walk over there and talk. And then it takes one touch to turn that friendly encounter into a very flirtatious encounter. And then through steps and processes, that becomes a sexual encounter. And once you have that, you know, it's like, all right, then they're going to pay $39.99 when you piss them off. You know, that'll be the side piece. That'll be the side piece right there.
So, well, anyways, any other questions, Tiara?
Well, I do want her to give out her social media handle. And tell everybody where they can find you. And if they have any love questions or sexual questions during the quarantine and the pandemic that we have going on, how to find that connection once again.
Yeah. Okay, so it's very, there he goes. Boom. I Spy September or I Spy September TV. So there it goes. Yeah. I know Instagram hated on my I Spy September. You know, they disabled me during quarantine. I was like,
Really?
They got me good. And it wasn't even something I did because I've done some risque things in my time. Not on Instagram, no, because I do mainstream stuff too. So I haven't, back in the day, I've had my own journey that people know. So back in the day, maybe I was a little batshit crazy, but now that I'm together, I don't do crazy stuff. So it literally was like a hashtag next to an @ tag, like someone's @ tag, but that person had so many out of pocket stuff on their page, and because I clicked the hashtag, that was a violation. It disabled mine. I was like, you got to be kidding. So I mean, it's still kind of like when I go to log in, it still shows like I can log in. So, but it's obviously saying we can't log you in. So I'm hoping later down the line, they just let me have it again. So I'm just going to keep that on standby. But for now, it's I Spy September TV or I Spy September everywhere else.
Cool. Yeah. Actually, do you have a little bit more time? Because we have this thing called Editorial Shade where we vent out a lot of things. So we would love to get your 2 cents on certain things, because I don't know if Tiara's got any, but I got some shade for one person in particular, just one, and I got to say something. So
let's do it.
Anyway,
I'm such a gossip queen. Like, let's talk. Let's be mean girls. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with the Editorial Shade right here on Fashion Victuals Radio.
Everywhere, we be getting money everywhere, yeah. They don't even know, they be throwing shade everywhere.
Welcome back to Fashion Victuals Radio right here on RipRadioNetwork.com. For once, I do have shade, but it's kind of been put out through all the United States, the shade that I'm talking about, so it's no need. But Brian, your shade.
Okay. It is kind of in relation to what you've been going on nationwide, the Black Lives Matter movement, things like that. But there's sadly enough, we have a, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say, I will say, a traitor among us. You've heard her name, Candace Owen. Now, if you don't know who she is, if you go back about middle of last year, she was part of a big panel with Killer Mike and T.I., and she said some things that were kind of like made a lot of people go, and all that stuff.
She was, it was during the summit on Revolt Summit. It was the Revolt Summit.
Right, Revolt Summit, right. So that kind of like, again, put her on notice. Me now, forget about suspending, banning her from Cookout. I'm there. Yeah, I mean, period. This girl is completely, absolutely Tommy Lauren insane. Because she posted out recently an 18-minute video of why she's not supporting George Floyd and him.
Is this the one that has like the Nutrisystem thing?
No, this is something completely different.
Okay,
I don't know.
I got some shade on some editorial shade then.
So September, if you have time, go to YouTube and go to Revolt Summit 2019.
Yeah.
It was Killer Mike, T.I., a few other activists on the panel.
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. She was the one with the curly hair, like the long hair.
She didn't have long hair. It was kind of like a short bob.
Oh,
that good. And she, again, I just felt like with this interview, I mean, I didn't sit and watch the full 18. I only saw like a good 3 minutes, and it was complete utter bullshit. I mean, she's claiming the fact that, if you go to this site, you'll see that George Floyd had a little packet of cocaine and all that stuff. Claiming, and it was like a lot of bullshit. And I'm like, look, the whole point is like this guy got killed. Period. By a police officer.
Here's the tea. The tea is that the attorneys are saying that it's personal, and now going around, flooding, is this picture where George was messing with the cop's daughter. Right. So that's why because that's been surfaced today that I've been seeing around. There's a group photo where he's like the only black guy who's surrounded by some Caucasian girls, and there's a circle around this girl, and that is allegedly that is the cop's daughter. So I know for a guaranteed fact that the attorney said that it was personal in some way, but they didn't say what it was. And now this picture is surfacing, claiming that that's the daughter, and that's what this is about. But it doesn't really matter what the situation is. The point is that someone died at the hands of police brutality. And I personally have just gotten violated by a police officer. So it's not the greatest feeling in the world. And I'm happy that I'm a very strong individual that I can talk about it. But, going through my, separation and everything, which is very an emotional time. So I had a really emotional day, and I had, family members and friends that just wanted to check on me to make sure I was okay, which is normal. And they called the police to make sure that they were, going to make sure that I was okay, because I was at home by myself with just my dog. What ended up happening is 2 male cops and a female cop showed up. Two of them were a minority, but they weren't our minority. And I'm not going to say what they were, but this is what it was. They showed it to my house. I didn't have any shoes on. I didn't have my phone. I didn't have my keys because I was like outside with the dog. And, they kept approaching me, kept coming toward me. I didn't break any laws, and I didn't want them in my space. And I have an issue with male cops because of some other things. So I'm politely asking to please, not be in my space. Like, I'm okay to check on me, but because that you got to do your job. But when you're approaching me in a way that's triggering for me, I need you to back up. And in between that time, some things were said in exchange, and I got detained. And I got strapped to a gurney, got taken to the hospital, and I spent 24 hours in a hospital that I didn't get I only got phone calls. I couldn't get a visit because of COVID. On top of that, while they detained me, they talked about my hair. They talked about me and my job as an adult worker. So I was completely violated, and it's a very violating experience. And not just with brutality doesn't necessarily have to mean physical.
Right.
They've said some things like, that we've heard tapings where cops have said some vile things. So anybody that, doesn't understand why people are protesting, it's just mind-boggling to me.
That's the thing I was getting to with Candace Owens. It's the fact that, okay, you completely forgetting and missing the point of what's going on here. I mean, you're trying to deface this guy because he possibly had some drugs. He possibly had a counterfeit $20 bill. He possibly
he possibly did porn.
Yeah, but
come on.
There's so many problems. There's so many problems. But the fact is, like, a guy got killed, and you never said a word about, like, I feel sorry for that, or whatever.
But see, but those are the same people, and I'm just gonna be the girl to say this because I'm the one that says things. These are the same people that when someone that is not of color commits a crime, rapes a girl, kills a person, they are the same people that go and do the same thing just in reverse. Oh, but he was a church boy, and he was this, and he was
a lot of enabling,
and all these things. So it's like, okay, you can't pick and choose when you want to throw in the good or the bad. Either you're going to throw in all the good and all the bad, or you're just going to shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
And you know what's crazy? It seems like us as African Americans, whenever something happens, we're always the ones forgiving.
Yeah.
We're always the ones who forgive. We're always the
just
ones
just like that judge that hugged that police officer who shot that person in his own home. That made no sense. I mean, those type of things where it's like you completely missing the point. In fact, it's like, look, these are people who are just are totally oblivious of what's fully going on, and you're like you said, September, you're picking, choosing what you feel like should be best.
Absolutely, because here's the thing: if this was not so common, if this was like, I don't know, the random, intense episode of Law and Order Special Victims Unit or something,
which is coming.
Like if this is a one-time occasion and it's like that special situation, I get where you would want to still humanize a person, even if they made a mistake. I understand that because we are human, and I'm not saying all lives matter. Let me be very clear. I am not one of those people. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is we are all human. So to give someone else, you cannot vilify someone for making the choice to end someone's life if you are then going to turn around and think that you're going to be the one to decide the fate of that person's life. So you cannot do that. You cannot pick and choose when you want to be in control and when you don't want to be in control. So in a one-time occasion, I can see. I don't think he should have hugged him. I think maybe that's I feel you. But at the same time, where we feel that people need to understand is this is not a one-time occasion. This is 450 years surplus. So there's no longer room for excuses at this point.
Right.
And I think that people fail to realize that Dr. King, when he did his march on Washington, was just back in the late 60s, like 66, 67. We're not that far from that, right?
No.
We're not.
No.
We still have a lot more growth to move forward with.
It's confusing. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying it's confusing because other parts of our generation and our society has been so much more advanced. With technology is advanced. Are these millennials and this Snapchat and Instagram and getting famous overnight, going viral, all this stuff, transgendered, LGBT acceptance, all these different things that have happened in the last, 40 years, that have come to play. So people forget that it's only been 40 years. You know what I mean? And like when it comes to serious matters, they want people to just fix it now. And it's like, no, we're still right there, because there's still places like, Alabama that are like real segregated still to this day. So it's not until we get to a place where collectively everybody is a little bit more mixed in, that's where the change happens, because that's where, the currents kind of collide, and you have this new wave of millennials that have open ideas and views and are able to openly speak to their parents in a respectful way, but in a way that's very educating. And like, this is how I feel, in all aspects of things. Like, I love my mom. I love our relationship, but is that the way I want to raise my kids? No. You know what I'm saying? So just little things like that, we have to get to that place. So it's like, it's, yeah, that is a good point, because people don't even think about that. They're like, oh, we got to fix it now. It should have been there. I'm like, no, it's been 450 years of the bullshit, but it's only been 40 years where we've said, or 50 years where we've said, fuck you. Like, you know what I mean? It hasn't been all of 40. If it was all of 40 to 50 years, then I can see something, but no, we just got here. Yeah.
Enough is enough. So, except there we got you with the few minutes we have left. You said you have some shade to say?
Yes, it's just a little quick shade, and I don't know her name, but I'm sure you can search it. She has that. It's like it's like a Nutrisystem or something like that. It's a Black female that owns this Nutrisystem thing. I guess she was allegedly she was on that show After the Poll on like TLC. She's like that. She's one of the dancers that were successful, that they kind of built the story around, because she now makes a 6-figure salary. So she took her stripping money and did that. So girlfriend, go ahead. What you don't do as a Black woman is go off, and she herself, like the other woman, has this long fucking video about how she is mad at the lockdown and the COVID and all these protesters and these looters, because she lost $200,000 in online sales. Are you kidding me? Like, you're telling me that you make $1 million something. This woman makes like $1 million something, like 1.3 mil in revenue. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like daily or weekly or something like that. But even if it was yearly, okay, that's a lot of money. So to be complaining about $200,000 over, it wasn't over the protest. It was over the Blackout Tuesday. She was upset. Yes, she was upset that she makes a lot of her money in online sales, and because Blackout Tuesday had everybody do the black boxes and not promote, that she lost sales. But I was like, and to myself, I'm thinking, well, really, Blackout Tuesday was so that people could promote Black-owned businesses and Black artists and creatives. So if nobody promoted your shit, then maybe your shit ain't really the shit. That's just my own personal shade.
You know what I think sometimes? I think that people tend to fail how selfish they are.
Yeah.
Like, there's stuff going on that is way bigger than you losing money on one day. One day of the entire year, mind you.
Yeah.
One day. You're complaining about?
Yeah. Yeah. That was like absurd to me.
She's the one who chose not to promote her business during that time.
Right. And I mean, even if she did, and even if she just took it as a loss, as a Black woman, to say that publicly, if that's how you feel on the inside, girlfriend, go for it. But the message you just sent was not cute. Was not cute. It's no different, and I am going to say this while we have these few minutes, it is no different than these girls. Now, if you are actually biracial and you go and do biracial stuff, great. Go for it. I'm very biracial. I just choose to do Black stuff. I choose to identify with that. But when girls are known to be multiracial and then they go and do my first interracial, like, the message that you send is that you're not okay with who you are. And so that just kind of came off very defensively as a Black woman to say that in light of the fact that it was not just George that we were referring to with that Blackout Tuesday. It was all those lives that mattered. You know what I mean? And I've lost people to police brutality. I've lost people just in general to just different. I've lost people to depression from at the hands of racism or sexism or colorism. You know, I've experienced colorism major growing up. So, just people like that just irk my nerve. They irk my nerve because it's so it's like, can you just not like think about like you being like one anomaly in a whole fucking like pool of like other living and breathing, like I would hate to be your child, because that's an innocent being that just has to rely on you, and you're so fucking selfish that like, are you even capable? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
you mentioning children, I noticed that the newer generations are the ones that are really stepping up and making this whole thing happen. I mean, they are mad, they are angry. They're the ones that are out there, boots on the ground.
They're the future. They're going to see this.
They're the future
down the line.
But also in the past, when we have spoken up or rioted or protested, we did have our children out there, but our children weren't being affected. So in the same way, they might have like okay, some people, obviously, I'm not going to say all, but there were those kids that did lose their parents and lose their brothers and lose their sisters. So I'm not going to say that there wasn't, but it wasn't so common. Now these kids, it was back then, it was like, okay, I lost my brother. Now these kids are, I lost my mother, I lost my father, I lost my grandmother, I lost my son, I lost my daughter. And it's not just from police violence or gun violence. We have our women and children, our mothers, our sisters, our daughters being humanly trafficked, like, being kidnapped, being murdered. Like it's not just being lynched. Okay. It is not just about somebody being shot. We have our blood, our flesh and blood being hung still in America. So, I mean, to put that into people, I have to understand. I put out a tweet and I said, when the normal person takes a family photo, these normal families are taking these family photos because they're proud and they want to show that their legacy. They want to have that for their younger children and grandchildren to see everything that they've been able to accomplish from scratch. When we do it, it's because we don't know if we're going to make it till next year, any of us. So when people we have to realize that it's a lot deeper. So people know that I'm a mother and I'm homeschooling my children because they are the future. We're not sitting around. They're very educated and they know about what's going on. They know their skin complexion. They know, and I have twin daughters. So I mean, for me, I like with everything that's going on, the one thing that they are always going to know is how much weight their crown carries. Period. Like that's just that. And we have to. I applaud these kids because they're just fearless. They're fearless.
Yes,
they're rainy.
And it's not just our kids. It's these these outer minority, like these non-minority kids. These kids are stepping up to their parents. Like, no, like, and it's not, you know what I mean? And I think it started when, with LGBT like community, where they're like, you're not going to tell us this. Like, this doesn't make any sense. If I want to do this, I should be able to do this. If I, you know what I mean? I should have this choice and whatever I want to be. And when they started to fight back on that, then it opened the door for them to be like, oh no, I feel this way about this too, and about this situation and this situation. I'm going to speak my mind. I just think the loophole or just like the drawback that I just want these kids to understand is just to do it the right way, because sometimes they haven't tapped into the adult mature, knowing to draw back and not act solely out on emotion. They are incredibly emotional because they're children. So, and sometimes that can cost life.
And that's when we need to step in and take over that part of it to kind of pull them back in. But once they get to the age where they can understand how to choose their words wisely and how to for what they believe in, that fear is going to go hand in hand with that. And they're going to be awesome.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, a lot of people used to say back in the day, oh, well, it's because, back in the day, what started the progress was the kids were moving out. They were born in, they grew up in this Alabama home, and they felt like they thought different or seen different or felt different, but they were too afraid to speak up about it for whatever reason. They were too afraid, maybe the family legacy, maybe the money that they were going to get, the trust funds they were going to use. Like all these different things where like daddy had a whole job set up for them. So they couldn't really say no to that when now entrepreneurship is like popping now. You can go viral on Twitter and do your thing. So they're like, oh, fuck you, Dad. I can go make my own meal. You know what I mean? Like, no, and fuck you. And I'm gay, by the way. You know what I mean? Or I want to date a black guy or whatever, the case may be. So I think that's what the difference. They were too afraid. Now it's actually them speaking up. Right. So it's a little bit more direct now, which I love. Right. I'm here for it.
I love it. Well, September, we are at the end of the show. Thank you so much. Your energy is always welcomed here.
I love you. Anytime. I'm glad we finally got to do it.
I know. Again, let everyone know where they can find you.
Yes, I Spy September or I Spy September TV. Yes.
And everybody, make sure you go follow.
Yes. Especially on Instagram. I Spy September TV on Instagram because it got taken down. So let's get me back up. Yay!
There you go. All right, everybody, please enjoy yourselves and be safe out there, especially if you're still in the midst of protesting. Please, please, please be safe. And make sure you hold the hand of the one next to you because we all need to stick together through this whole pandemic, through this whole Black Lives Matter movement. So, all right.
Yes.
All right.
I'll see you later. Bye.